What's up, everybody? And today I wanted to talk about Xbox and their new exclusivity. Now, real quick preamble before I get into it, I just want to say off top, I am a PlayStation fan. So, take that with a grain of salt. But I do think competition is good, right? I mean, you look at like Nintendo and it's like you want to play Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, like any other, IP of theirs, you know where you have to go. You want to play a PlayStation game, you know where you have to go, especially since they pulled their game off PC, right? And so Xbox being like, all right, we're doing exclusivity again. Like you have to get, kind of an Xbox, kind of. We'll get to that, but you have to get, an Xbox to come play our games. Okay, cool. We're back in. They're back in the fight. And they came out with a couple punches, right? But I think ultimately, looking at their showcase and kind of seeing what they're choosing to do, I think they just didn't come out swinging hard enough. And for me, I'm just like, I I I wish they had came out with a little more of a fight for real, right? And so looking at the showcase, getting into it, you have the two bookends. You have E-Day and you have Clockwork Revolution, and both of those are Xbox exclusives. And then the whole rest of the showcase, the whole middle of the showcase, pretty much was just like games that had the PS5 logo on it. And so someone like me is like, okay, well, I can just play these games on PS5. So majority of that showcase was like, sure, Xbox games, but if I can get them, then I don't really feel like you're, gung ho about exclusivity. It feels more like you're throwing jabs when you should throw, some metaphorical hooks, or, you know what I'm saying? And so I was seeing this and I was like, damn, I kind of wish that they had, come out and be like, E-Day, Clockwork, Halo, Fable, Spyro, fuck it. Like, it's all exclusive. You can only get it here. Now, I know that there has been, I'm just going to say it's a rumor. I don't know if it's been proven yet, of, Asha going around and she was trying to get Halo and Fable away from PlayStation, but apparently it seems like, the deals have gone too far and she can't reverse that. So, props to her. She is in the right mindset if me and her are on the same page, right? And so I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't have, the heavy hitters ready to go, but I did expect more of that showcase to be like Xbox, right? And it just feel like they didn't do that. So already I feel like, they didn't come out like swinging in the way that I expected, based on the beginning of that showcase. And then, you see the two exclusive games and it says Xbox on Steam. So it's like, okay, well, you can technically still get those games on PC. And again, I don't feel like they're really swinging on being like, you have to come back to Xbox. I feel like if you want people to come to Xbox, right, you want to appease the hardcore fans, right? The people that are still ride or die for you, your day ones. And you want people that still have their Xbox to dust that thing off if they're not playing it, right? And get back on your ecosystem. And for people that don't have an Xbox, right, you want them to want to have an Xbox to consoles are super expensive right now, but like if there was a bunch of games and I wanted to play and they're like, no, this is Xbox only, like the list I gave earlier, I would go on like eBay and be like, can I get a Series X for like the low key, like, a cheaper price or something? Like I would, consider it. And so I feel like you'd want to set up, a kind of group of games for people to be like, oh, damn, I gotta, find a way to get myself an Xbox, or like time to, reboot my Xbox. And so seeing that these two exclusives are still on Steam, I feel like majority of people that left the console space didn't go to the other console, they went to PC. And so by giving those same games to PC, it's like, well, you're not really getting them to kind of come back to your ecosystem. You're saying like, hey, we'll meet you where you are. And I don't think you're going to get those people to, even if they had the list that I was talking about, right? I don't think you're going to have them turn around and like leave their PC. But again, if you had the games and you're like, you can only play it on an Xbox console, I think people would go out of their way to try to, get some sort of Xbox console. And so even them, sticking with Steam is just like, I don't feel like you went there in the way that me personally, I wanted you to be there. And again, I'm a PlayStation fan. But I think again, competition is good. I mean, look at Overwatch. Overwatch 2 was like just kind of chilling, and a lot of people said that it sucked, so I never played it. And then Marvel Rivals came out, and they started eating their lunch, and then out of nowhere, they're like, "Okay, we dropped it too. We're back in, baby. We fixed everything." Right? So competition is good, and like I was saying earlier, like you can say what you want, however long you've been in the metaphorical, console war, but Nintendo's always been chilling and being like, you want to play Mario, you know where you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And so this leads me into the next part, and I feel like this is where people are gonna get the most mad if you're still along for the ride. And it's with the two games that are exclusive, E-Day and Clockwork Revolution. So with E-Day, I'm not a Gears of War fan. I wasn't able to play a lot of franchises because my parents were strict. And so I missed out on Gears. And I played it for the first time with my brother because he was super young, or I don't even know if he existed when like the first one came out. And so we played it together, Gears of War Reloaded. Which, a little funny thing is, like, we got to the final boss and we beat it in 10 seconds. So I think my game was bugged. So like that ending experience did not hit for us. But that being said, right? I was excited for E-Day. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're gonna put out E-Day, and I imagine they're gonna, redo 2 and 3. And so, as someone who wasn't into the franchise, I was excited, and I'm sure hardcore fans of people that grew up with Gears is excited. But my thing is, like, are casual people excited? Like me personally, I don't think any of my friends are particularly Xbox fans, so I can't really ask them. But I am curious of, like, are regular people that kind of play games, majority of like the mainstream, do they see a new Gears of War? They see that it is a prequel, and do they get excited enough to make a change in Xbox's pocketbook for them to be like, all right, cool, like, this is a good decision. This is move in the right direction. And I don't know. I feel like so much media is like, oh, a prequel, right? And they just don't want to interact with it. And granted, I probably should have looked this up, but I don't know when the last Gears came out. And I know like 4 and 5 apparently didn't hit the same way that 1 through 3 did. But I am curious of, like, is E-Day popping in the streets of like regular people, not the hardcore, not the gamers like us who are, probably listening to this video. I don't know. I hope it is. I hope people are excited for this game, but I'm not sure. And then you get Clockwork Revolution, which is a brand new IP, and those are always, tricky because it's like, okay, you're introducing people into this new world, and I don't know if, again, Clockwork has the buzz of people that aren't hardcore, and even hardcore, I don't know. I'm not on social media, so I don't know if people are like, yo, this game's looking sick. Because again, it was on my list. I was super excited for it. And so when they said Xbox exclusive, I was like, damn, like, I can't play this on PS5. But like, again, good for y'all. So, me personally, I'm like, this game looks like BioShock with a little bit, especially like BioShock Infinite, with a little bit of like Outer Worlds 2 kind of, but like it's also its own thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is super cool. But again, I don't know if these two games are like popping to where, if you're like the nerd of your family, or at work or something, like, are your coworkers talking about these games? Like, is your family, your cousin who like kind of plays games or whatever, like talking about these two games? Like, please let me know down in the comments below if you're hearing buzz about these two games that aren't from hardcore gaming people. But I just worry that these two games aren't going to be the swing that they're hoping for. And in a industry that's been so volatile for the last, like, what, 5 to 10 years, but I feel like 5 years for sure, where it's like you put out a game, and even if it's decent, if it doesn't sell enough, it could even sell. If it doesn't sell enough, they will close like a studio, or maybe they'll, if you're lucky, maybe you get put somewhere else. But again, a lot of these studios are closing just because it's like, oh, well, you put out a 7 out of 10, and it it didn't get what we wanted. Everything has to be like an 8 or a 9 or whatever. And so yeah, I just see these two games and I'm just like, man, like I'm afraid. But again, I wanted to play these games. If I did, I'd play them on Steam. I wouldn't even play them on an Xbox console because I'm not gonna go buy an Xbox for two games. You know what I'm talking about? I just see all this stuff with the exclusivity, and I'm just like, I'm nervous that they didn't come out swinging in the way that I was hoping for, and you have all these factors, and it's just like, I don't know. And then Xbox, I just feel like, I mean, granted, it's new leadership, right? But I just feel like they're so wishy washy. It's like, if the games come out and they don't sell, are you going to be like, well, psych, we tried. We're just going to put them back on, PS5 or whatever. So I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll find out. I think that another issue is that, of course, everything is so fucking expensive, and you're getting these consoles that are already expensive. Price of every single console has gone up. And then PS6, Xbox Helix, are those going to be like $1,000? You know what I'm saying? And then even if it's like, oh well, the digital edition is like $900, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's so much money that it's like, even if you had banger exclusives, I don't know if you can get people to come to a new console. And then the fact that the rumor is that Helix is going to be an Xbox and a PC, it's like, well, if most people left, or if most of the people that have left have gone to PC, right, and not over to PlayStation, and you're still putting your games on Steam in some way, even if it is Xbox Game Pass on Steam, then it's like, well, then why the hell would those people go out and buy a Helix? You know what I'm talking about? Like, they could just get your game already. And so all of these factors just have me concerned, but I am glad that Xbox is trying to get back into the fight. I do hope that things kind of go their way, because I think, again, competition is good. And there's a reason for me to be on PlayStation, right? And so I think there should be a reason for people to want to be on Xbox. So I am hoping everything works out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.